Well, HelloFood all started in November last year, and it was really driven by an observation that in Nigeria and several African markets are very large and not currently well served by the existing online companies that were operating in those countries. So we had the opportunity to take to come to a market where, to take restaurants for example. There are loads of restaurants, but they're hard to find. The ordering process is very unpleasant. It's difficult to get through to restaurants. It's impossible to know what they have on their menu unless you're actually there. So there was really a market in Nigeria where, although there was a lot of supply, it was actually very difficult for someone to place an order remotely. So our aim was to come to that very large and very fast-growing market and introduce something that was completely revolutionary in terms of convenience and choice. So that's why we came to Nigeria. And since launching in Nigeria in November last year, we've since launched in 5 other countries, with 3 more to come in the next few months.
Alright. So I'd like to know, why food? Why not any other business? Why the choice for food?
It's something I'm personally passionate about. It's something where there's a huge opportunity. When you look at other more developed markets, you see that there are people who are doing a similar business model very successfully. So the business model in itself is not totally new, but it's new for Nigeria. And so there are plenty of other models which the same story applies to. Take Jumia is a good example of taking e-commerce model to Nigeria. There are various other startups that we are sort of closely aligned with who are taking other business models, whether it's hotel reservations, taxi reservations. So you're right. There are many areas where online can come to Nigeria and significantly improve the customer experience.
Okay. So far, what are the challenges operating in the Nigerian market?
I think the main challenges, from my perspective, I originally thought that maybe it would be things like logistics and infrastructure, but actually those haven't transpired. They haven't really become major issues for us. I'd say that the main challenge for us in this market is that historically people haven't been people don't immediately think of online as the place to find goods and services. So we have a big behavioral challenge and an education challenge of teaching people that actually, increasingly the goods and services that they consume are available, not just available online, but they're available in very high quality online. I mean, if I'm I'm from London originally. If I'm in London and I'm looking for a product or a service, I will immediately look online. It's always the first place I'll look. That hasn't historically been the case for consumers in Nigeria. So part of our challenge is to help educate and say, look, we're offering a fantastic, extremely convenient service. It's online. Trust the internet and start to increasingly use it to buy good products.
Okay, so far has HelloFood been able to create awareness, so far to penetrate into the Nigerian market?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do marketing all over the place. The key for us is to be very targeted and smart about how we do it. You'll see tons of examples of early stage startups who come to Africa and put money into billboards, radio, TV, things like this. These are things that we're going to be doing in the not too distant future, but in the meantime, we're trying to target consumers where they actually have a purchase decision. So we are all over Google ads, Facebook ads, and social media. For example, we have people who go into office buildings in developing relationships with them to supply their food needs. So we are have increasing awareness and penetration. We've got thousands and thousands of customers so far in Lagos alone, and tens of thousands across all of our markets. So awareness is increasing, and penetration is already pretty high. So we're already we've already captured at least 80% of the market in Nigeria.
Okay, so how would you rate the response so far? Have you guys gotten to the height, or how do you just rate the response so far from the market?
I mean, people love the service. Our customers are extremely loyal, which is reassuring to me because I can see that they're getting good use out of it, and they come back a lot. We have some customers who place over 80 orders with us, and that's increasing every day.
Okay.
So I talk to people, and I know that whether people are trying to place orders for lunch in their office or for their family at home, even if they're trying to place an order for an event that they're catering, they can do it all with us, and they much prefer doing it with us than how they did it before. So I get very positive feedback from people.
Okay, so far your expectations, if you have to rate your expectations, would you say it's higher or lower than for now, looking at the situation of Hello Food now?
I've been very pleasantly surprised with the reactions since I came to Nigeria. I think people really enjoy it, and they're very loyal. Our challenge is to get to more people and to explain with high quality marketing interactions that just to get them started. Once they've done it once, most people are converts.
Okay, so competition. Do you have competitors in the market right now?
We do. We do have a couple of competitors in Lagos.
So how has it been so far? You and your competitors, has Hello Food been able to meet up? When you have competitors, is it stiff? Would you say it's a stiff competition you have right now?
Look, I welcome competition. It actually feeds back into the discussion about behavior change. Frankly, the more people who are on the ground marketing this business to consumers, they're effectively saving me on some of my marketing budget. So that's great. How do we compete with them? The area of difference that we put very heavy emphasis on is having a fantastic website. So our website is the most sophisticated site for food ordering in the world. And the competitors that we have in Lagos don't come close on the platform. The other thing I would say is just the number of restaurants. So we have 220 restaurants that customers can order from in Lagos, which is dramatically higher than what the competition offers. Several of those key restaurants are exclusive to Hello Food as well.
Okay. I would also like to know, for this type of job, you need IT technicians, people who would always be on ground to make this happen. So far, how are you coping with that? Did you find those people here in Nigeria?
So we actually have a team in Europe who do all of our IT. We have a pretty large development team, and they've put together an outstanding, extremely sophisticated product. So that's how we've organized ourselves.
Okay, so based on the market response, so would you say Nigeria is really ready for the level of innovation you're trying to bring in?
Yeah, I think our view is that the market is early but ready. We see massive growth in online penetration, online usage, mobile usage. There are more people online in Nigeria than there are people at all where I'm from. So it's a huge online market. It's growing very quickly. If you think back to 2000, the year 2000, there were about 200,000 people using the internet in Nigeria. In the last 13 years since then, it's grown to, depending whose numbers you look at, probably around 60 to 70 million people. Massive.
Yeah, that's quite massive.
Yeah.
So our government policies here, has it in any way affected the business?
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, 1 month after we launched the business, they banned avocados and tomatoes.
Oh.
Which for a food delivery business, I'm sure you can understand, is a big challenge. So yeah, I mean, one thing that we have to work with is a changing political landscape. But you know, we jumped that hurdle and it's been fine. So restaurants have acclimatized and they found other bikes and things are working well. But yeah, you know, it's a challenge in this kind of market that I wouldn't have if I was in the UK or the US.
Okay. In retrospect, what would you say is your greatest concern when entering into the Nigerian market? What was your greatest concern, when entering into this market?
Yeah, I mean, for me, and for all investors and startups, there's a balance. This is a huge, fast-growing, exciting market. There's a ton of money coming in from sophisticated investors all around the world. At the same time, we all know the risks. There are challenges with infrastructure, challenges with politics, challenges with all sorts of things. Trust and consumer behavior. Big changes required there. So, our view is that the opportunity far outweighs the risks, and my sense so far is that view is correct.
Okay. We noticed some changes has been made, a dramatic change on your website.
Yeah.
So, what's really the brain behind changing your website? You mentioned earlier it's just you upgraded. So why did you do that?
Yeah. So we actually completely upgraded our content in the last week, and we're always pushing to improve the user experience and to make the ordering process more efficient with people. So we were actually constantly making changes. But last week we made a big change in the user interface. And the main thinking behind it is that now we have a much easier to use site. It's very quick to find the food you want and to place an order. Faster, it's quicker now than it was before. So it's very important to us. People who are ordering food, they don't have much time to mess around. They're hungry and therefore probably short on patience. So we need to bring them food that they love, with as little messing around as possible. Our whole ethos is about convenience and removing hassle. So now it's pages load much faster. The ordering process is much shorter. We've added features like reviews, which we didn't have before. We know that consumers like to make their decision based on what other consumers have experienced, not just what we're telling them. So lots of new features now which will improve the overall experience.
Okay, so what should Nigerians expect from Hello Foods in the nearest future?
Nigerians should expect constantly pushing to improve convenience for them. They're going to see us in more places. They're going to be able to access more restaurants through our site. And they're also going to see us expanding further across Africa. So we're just at the beginning of a very long journey. And the results are very, very promising so far. But there's a huge amount more to offer us as the future goes on.
Okay, my last question. A lot of people are looking at starting small businesses, especially with the growth of internet and technology. So what would your advice be to such startups?
I think actually, before I answer, I think Nigeria is a very attractive market for people who are looking to start online businesses. It's inexpensive to get it going. And there are a ton of opportunities that just don't exist in more developed markets due to competition. So my advice to people is just to try it. just to give it a go. You know, it's a very low risk thing to do at the moment. It's cheap to get a startup off the ground, and it's, you know, Nigerians are so interested in technology and new developments that you know, people will very quickly get a sense for whether their idea is, you know, whether their idea has legs or whether it's, you know, maybe not the best. But you never know if you don't try it. So my strong advice would be to just give it a go, see if you can get, you know, a small group of users to start using it and demonstrate that you're bringing them real value. And then once you've done that, you know, you're in a strong position to try and raise money or to try and grow the business further.
Okay. Is there any message from Hello Food to their customers and consumers of their brand? Do you have any message?
Yeah, please try it out. Give it a go, see what you think. I can't say a lot more than that, to be honest. I'm very happy with where the site is now. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's very easy to use. We've got all of the key restaurant chains on board that people, you know, order from on a daily basis. And we've never had so many. You know, we have a ton of functionality now that people can use, whether they're ordering for themselves, whether they're ordering for their office, whether they're looking to set up an ongoing catering relationship where we can now supply offices, weddings, all sorts of events. But the key is just to try it, see what happens. And I'm pretty confident that once they've tried it once, you know, they'll be converted for life.
All right, thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you very much.